Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs Show. Happy Saturday, late afternoon, early evening. Hope the day has been okay and treated you well. Obviously, Spurs losing 2-1 at home to Newcastle. Plenty really coming out of this game. And look, it's obviously a loss. Never great losing, okay? And there was things in this game that didn't go well. You know, let's start with a few things. Obviously, first and foremost, Ranu Dragicin supposedly looks like he could be injured again. If not, it is just the case of that he is struggling still from his illness, which good to see a lot of Spurs fans, still digging into him, even though he's played through an illness and injury. Quite boring being on Twitter and dealing with fans who still call him out for a misplaced pass and things like that, Moving on from that. Obviously, there was a few things really in the game. I think some players struggled today. I think Kulusevski struggled a little bit today, if I'm honest. There's a few times where his touch let him down, gave the ball away a bit sloppily. And there's another thing as well. This is why Maddison's a lot more underrated than we want to give him credit, is because Kulusevski can't control a game. In that position where we kind of want a guy sometimes to get on the ball, start dictating play, start dictating tempo, that's not his game. His game is very much getting it behind a line of the opposition midfielders ahead of the line of defence. Hence why Maddison plays when Maddison plays and Kulu's in those sort of positions, he gets well found. But he can't control a game from the midfield. I thought Pape struggled today. I thought Pape really, really struggled today. He looked tired. He looked really, really tired. The Bergvall situation, by the way, had no issues with substitution. Had no issues with the substitution, and there's a really, really obvious reason as to why there was no issues for me when it comes to the substitution. He got the fact that we're booing the situation. I think is more of a reactive to the substitution instead of actually thinking what the situation is. You're down 2 extra midfielders in the week, right? Bergvall's probably going to have to play in the week, so I had no issues with him coming off because I'd rather not risk him, knowing that he's going to be needed in the week. Ben's call will be back for the game as well in the week. But you obviously, you're down 2 midfielders, hence why I had no issues with Maddison coming on. I thought Maddison came on and played really, really well. Timo, not good to say, Timo. I thought Johnson struggled again today. And really, that's probably the furthest I'll go with the poor performances. I'm not going to dig into like a Reguilon or anyone like that, really. As much as I don't rate Reguilon, I'm not going to dig into him. I thought Spence in the first half played poorly. I do think that. I thought playing out from the back, I thought he was caught out a little bit defensively as well, playing balls in behind him, not being aware. Ironically, when he went to play centre-back, he looked pretty solid, which is the irony to it. And, it's mental that we're getting some form of, copium and excitement over a central midfielder playing at centre-back and a right-back who was playing left-back is now playing centre-back. Because right now at Spurs, you're down 4 centre-backs. It's just, you can't make it up. I'm just laughing about it more because we are obviously luck-wise screwed at the moment. We are, you're down 2 keepers, you're down 4 centre-halves, you're down a left-back, and that's not even before you get to the midfield and attack. You're just down that. Evening, Peter, Jazz, Rec, CDC, Donna, how are we all? But let's go with a bit of positives before I dig into the person that calls himself. I share a first name with him, Andrew Madley, who was just genuinely awful, a terrible referee today. We'll come to that in a minute. Let's go with some positives though. Brandon Austin, I thought for his debut game for Spurs, I was mightily impressed with Brandon Austin's performance. No issues with him going long at times with the ball. I was actually quite happy that he did. If he's not on, off it goes. And he did. He did that, and off it went. And I thought under the high ball, he's really good. Obviously, you know, let's be honest, he was getting beaten up at corners like our keepers always do. And I think it's really funny they stopped doing that in the second half, because I think the referee probably went, keep doing it, you're going to get bookings, which obviously he wouldn't have done because he was so far up Newcastle's backsides. But they stopped doing it in the second half. And also they realised it wasn't working because he was handling it all very, very easily. Made good saves. Obviously, the first goal, not going to crucify him on that first goal because it's a good shot. It's a very good finish. Second goal, not his fault, you know. And that's the thing with our keepers. The keepers aren't the keepers aren't. The keepers aren't the ones at fault for some of our goals. I'd say most of them are not at fault, you know. Obviously, there's a few things you could have said about the second goal and who could have maybe been in a better position. Could Archie have been in a better position? Could Jed have dealt with the cross a bit better? Could Dragic been in a better position? It is what it is on that side of things. Pedro Porro, I think that was his best game in a long time. Really, really doing. And that was the Pedro Porro that, look, he got a bit of time off. He got actually time to rest. And I think that Pedro Porro performance was evident that he had a bit of rest. And I think it's so evident that I've been saying this for so long. If you can give some of these players, you know, a few days off just because they're not going to play a certain game, their performance levels come back up a bit, do they not? Not for the most part. Obviously, I think Pape struggled a little bit today, but I thought Jed was fantastic. I actually thought, no, sorry, Jed. I thought Pedro Porro was actually my man of the match. I wasn't going to give it to Austin. Don't hate the idea, but I actually thought Pedro Porro was my man of the match. The amount of good crosses that were put in, obviously, he got the assist for the first goal. Sorry, the first goal. He got the assist for our only goal. But nine times put a good cross in. Defensively, very, very sound. Wasn't caught out by Gordon or anything like that. Really solid performance. I thought Archie Gray, again, for a guy who was, you got to remember, he was ill. Obviously, there's some people on Twitter that don't believe illness is a thing unless it suits who they want to get their agenda out on. I was really happy with the fact that he was ill. What do you want me to do? He's not going to be dropping 10 out of 10 performances. He's not Michael Jordan in the NBA Finals. He's playing out of position. So I was happy with how he did in the midfield. Look, I think Lucas Bergvall was good going forward. I don't think he has the tactical awareness when it comes to having to track back defensively. Something I noticed that him and Pape were always caught out of position. Kulu, I thought actually was probably one of our starters, probably one that struggled the most. Obviously, I know Timo wasn't great and Johnson wasn't great, and I'm coming to those two in a minute. But yeah, I thought Kulu struggled today immensely. I thought Madison and Basuma coming on looked very good, but then I said to my friend, it's one of those things when you look at these players that come off the bench, they always seem to do well coming off the bench. And then they struggle the next game when they're having to start and play a full 90. It's a common theme with a lot of these players. Front three. Solanke, solid. Played very well. Obviously, great header for the goal. Worked hard. Link up play, very solid. Had it been another day, he probably would have had a few assists if people could actually finish their dinners. When we think about the two wingers in Werner and Johnson, weren't good enough today. They weren't. I thought Johnson looked lively. First 20 minutes, I was thinking Johnson's up for this. I think we're going to get some goals out of him today. And then he and Timo, extremely lazy defensively again. It's like, just you trying to run after the guy and jogging after him really doesn't actually do enough. It's what they used to complain about when Mesut Ozil was at Arsenal. Look at his running stats, though. They're so high. It's like, yeah, but he's running when it really means nothing, or he's not trying. If he tried a bit harder, all these things, I really think that will show. And I don't think they were good enough today. I thought Son looked lively. Link up play wise was really solid again today. So look, some good stuff, some bad stuff. Referee, look, that first goal. If you want to give that first goal, you give that first goal. Joel Linton should have been sent off, and so should have Dan Burn. Dan Burn's on a yellow card, an intentional handball on a counter-attack. If he wasn't on a yellow, he would have been booked for that. It's in the middle of the field. We're on a counter-attack. His arm's up here. How is that not a yellow card? That was at 1-1, by the way. That was at 1-1. It's beyond a joke. You got Joel Linton who slams in an elbow on Lucas Bergvall. And if they want to say, well, Kulusevski did this to Anthony Gordon, it wasn't as bad as Anthony Gordon's. Okay. But if you want to say it's a red card, you give that a red card. You're 9 men, we're 10 men. I fancy our chances even more than it would be 11 versus 10. But yeah, Joel Linton, basically, the only way for him to get sent off today is if he genuinely just murdered someone. That's the only way he was ever going to get a red card today. It's always I saw it all over Twitter. So many different fan bases all going, how the hell is Joel Linton still on this pitch? You got Arsenal fans saying that. You got Arsenal fans saying, you got Chelsea fans saying, you got Everton fans saying, you got so many fans that maybe don't have a dog in this fight, or you got fans that are actually rivals of our club going, how the hell are Newcastle not down to 9 or 10 men? And I saw Charlie Akshay saying they actually get refereed on. They're a physical side, so because they're physical, they're going to be physical from time to time. That's not the rules. Are the rules. I don't care if you're a team of 7-foot people or 5-foot people. The rules are the rules. Right? So, okay, Joel Linton doesn't get sent off. Fine. Then Kulusevski won't be sent off because that, in turn, they're fairly similar. Dan Burns sent off, and there's no way anyone on earth can tell me he should not have been sent off. Nobody. Like I said, on a yellow, on a counter-attack, so that is cynical, which is already a yellow card. It's then a handball, his arms all the way up here. So that was that 1-0. We should have been playing against 10 men. Game's a different game. Simple as that. So referee let us down there today. And then after that, obviously, then they've got them slapping the ball in the penalty box. But the funny thing is when they talk about these yellow cards, well, if that was in the box and that's going to lead to a goal, that's a handball, you see. So how is it one rule for outside the box and one rule inside the box? I don't know what the handball rule is anymore. I just don't know. It never makes any sense. Never makes any sense, you know? Overall, farcical performance from him. He got so many decisions wrong. It was unbelievable. Sitting there watching that game, you could count double figures of things he got wrong today. Awful refereeing performance. One of the worst I've seen in a very, very long time. And Ange after the game coming out, and he is fuming. And you get fans of our club who go, Ange doesn't show enough emotion. Well, 5 minutes into the game, he is bombasting and going mental on the sidelines, showing all the emotion you could possibly show. For the first half, I genuinely saw him blow up multiple times with anger because that's how poor the referee was. It's like, we've got a player down injured. You gave the advantage. It went nowhere. You didn't pull it back for the foul. You continue to play on and still wouldn't stop to go then. Still go back to Pedro. He's been down for about 30 seconds. Newcastle player goes down. Oh my God, no, not the Newcastle player. Let's run back there. It's like, you can't have it one way or the other. So, Madley, awful referee. Hope I never see him at another Spurs match ever again. That's one of those that he should get demoted to a different league because it's that poor. Look, some interesting stuff obviously out of that game. Obviously, midweek's not going to be fun. I'm going to be real now. Midweek is not going to be fun with Liverpool. In reality, we're probably going to want to try and take this to Anfield where we're within touching distance of them. And then the game's the game. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Fraser Forster. Is he going to be back from illness? We'll see what happens with Radu. Is he going to be back? I don't know. But between now and that game, we have 4 days. Oh, Jesus wept. Well, what you see of the players today is probably what you're going to see in the week. The Referre should go bashing because he's physical. Nonsense. I know. It's absolutely farcical, Jazz. Rules outside the box should be stricter than inside because penalties are so valuable, but free kicks aren't so much. Yeah. But also, if one's leading right to a goal, which Joel Linton's does, it should be the same rules. People ranting they want him out despite the ref being shocking. They like context only when it suits Ange Alters. Oh, I see it all the time. I saw it all the time on Twitter today. They were boring as hell. New keeper today. Yeah, I'm going to do a video on the new keeper tomorrow. I saw Ange getting mad at the ref. Yeah, and he rightfully so. I mean, after the game, he said, on a level and fair playing field, we win that game today. Just deep that. They would have been down to 10 men. They wouldn't have got the second goal. He's talking about the first goal as that should be a handball. That's 1-0 and they're down to 10 men. Fulham at home this season. Lukic should have been sent off at 1-0. They come back in that game 1-0. That's 6 points dropped. And those two teams would have 3 points less each. It's so many times this season. So I never want to hear at the moment about top six mafia biasness. I don't want to hear it. It just doesn't exist when it comes to Spurs. Because why on earth, if that was the case, then why on earth are we not getting some decisions today? Because we got next to nothing today. And next to nothing, I'm being nice to Andrew Madley. We got nothing. So I never want to hear about big six biasness. It doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. Spurs get absolutely cucked every single week by referees. It's embarrassing. And also, commentators, awful. How are they playing on for an extra 2 minutes? Well, there was a player down for about 2 minutes. They also made substitutions and time wasting. Or does that not fit your media agenda? I heard so many people after these games going, they need to control the games better. Newcastle have defensive issues. If Newcastle got defensive issues, then what have we got? Because guess what? They substituted a centre-half, and guess what they did? They brought on a centre-half. There's some balloons. Enjoy them. My MacBook's telling you something. It's bonkers, isn't it? Hi, in chat. Can't fault the efforts. Lots of positives. Our luck is just out at the moment. Agree, Callum. Well, we'll talk about him tomorrow. We would have beaten him. Austin was pretty damn good for his first ever start. Yeah, I couldn't have faulted him. Great from set pieces in terms of claiming them whilst he was getting beaten up. I mean, dirty challenges at times at that sort of situation. And yeah, I thought he was distribution-wise was pretty solid. No mistakes. No mistakes from Brandon Austin-Towers. I was happy with what I saw. And my expectations were low because it's his first game, not because I thought he was rubbish. I thought it was his first game. I'm going to keep him low. And he exceeded him. You know, now commentator was like, how to say I hate Spurs without saying I hate Spurs. Spot on. Do we move on to centre back quick, or will it not matter for Liverpool? I don't think we're signing someone before Liverpool. You have to have them in by the day before at 12 o'clock to have them registered in time. I think it might be a little bit later because you've got a later game. It might be like 7 o'clock on the 7th for an 8 o'clock game. I don't know. Hang on. Brentford won 5-0 away. Bournemouth won 1-1. Chelsea drew away to Palace. Interesting. Villa won 2-1 at home to Leicester. And City won 4-1. I think Lopetegui's gone from West Ham. I don't know what you guys think. I want to look at fixtures. I just want to see what time is kickoff. 8 o'clock. So maybe it's like 7 o'clock the day before is the cut-off point for registering of players. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't see anyone coming in. Spurs like to do one deal at a time. They don't multitask. If they did, you'd see some bald heads there sweating. I'm not saying names, but you know. But look, overall, we performed well. We were the first half wasn't a great half. Second half, we were miles better. We deserved points from this game, at least one, maybe three. Referee, absolute farcical job. The fact he got paid for that today is just daylight robbery. But it is what it is. We fight against referees. We have to fight against 12 men quite frequently. It is what it is. Newcastle fans saying Joel Linton's arms are in natural position. Okay, well, I'm not going to lie. I know, obviously, Joshua, you're not saying this, but I'm not going to lie. If this is natural, then my God, we are screwed. We are not playing football anymore. We're playing MMA. Is the goalkeeper alone or permanent? Permanent. But we're going to talk about him tomorrow. We'll talk about him tomorrow because I want to do a bit of research. And it not being from Twitter, where it's full of absolute bozos at the moment. So look, just seeing a chance story that's a little bit annoyed me. I can't lie, but let's see. We'll see. But anyway, Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Go and enjoy this evening. The kickoff for the Brighton Arsenal games in 10 minutes. So get yourself a cup of tea, put your feet up, stick the game on, and enjoy whatever happens to that game. Enjoy that game. And I will be enjoying the NFL a little bit later. He might not be playing. And that team might not be playing because they're actually the worst in the NFL at the moment. So I'm 2 for 2 out of clubs, but I'll be enjoying that one anyway. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, everyone. I'll speak to you all tomorrow morning. We'll be speaking a little bit more about the new signing. Take care. Peace.